Cruises are meant to feel relaxing, but somewhere between planning, packing, and trying to get it right, they start to feel complicated. People overthink the timing, the schedule, the choices, and the pressure to make it all count. And a vacation that's supposed to slow you down starts speeding you up instead. This isn't just first time cruisers, it happens no matter how many times you've sailed. Different ship, different trip, same quiet stress. The truth is, most cruises don't fall apart because something goes wrong. They feel worse when expectations get too heavy. In this video, we're going to talk about the things that cruisers overthink the most and why you don't actually need to worry about them. Not to plan less, but to feel calmer as the trip unfolds. Because cruising works best when you stop trying to perfect it and start letting it be what it is. Embarkation day gets overthought more than almost anything else. People worry about arriving early, boarding late, missing lunch, missing activities, or starting the cruise already behind. But embarkation day isn't a test. It's a transition day. You're moving from real life into cruise life. Things feel busy because everyone is arriving at the same time. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Even if boarding takes longer than expected, you're still on board the same ship with the same itinerary as everyone else. Nothing important starts without you. Most people rush because they think the cruise begins the moment they arrive. But cruising doesn't really start until you exhale, until you unpack, step outside, and realize that you don't need to be anywhere yet. Embarkation day works best when you stop trying to optimize it and just let it pass. By the next morning, no one remembers who boarded first. They just remember how relaxed they are right now. A lot of cruise stress comes from feeling behind the schedule. People check the app, see overlapping activities, and feel like they're already missing something. But cruise schedules aren't instructions, they're options. They exist so thousands of people can spread across the ship, not so one person can do everything. If you skip one activity, it usually means you're doing something else that matters in that moment. Eating slowly, sitting quietly, watching the water pass by. Cruises don't reward speed, they reward presence. You don't fall behind on a cruise. You move through it at your own pace. And most of the moments that people remember later aren't scheduled at all. When they happen, you stop checking the time. Sea days make people nervous. They worry about getting bored, wasting time, or not using the ship enough. But sea days are where cruises actually slow down. They're the days without deadlines, without travel, without needing to be anywhere else. If a port day is about doing, a sea day is about being. You don't need a plan for it to be valuable. Sleeping in, finding a quiet spot, or watching the horizon isn't wasted time. It's the point. Most people realize this only after the sea day passes, that they felt calmer, less rushed, and more present. Sea days aren't empty, they're spacious. And the more you let them stay that way, the better your cruise feels. Port days feel high pressure. People worry about choosing the right excursion, seeing enough, or making the most of limited time. It can start to feel like a checklist instead of a place. But ports aren't something you complete. They're somewhere you spend a few hours. Doing less doesn't mean you did it wrong. It often means you noticed more. Walking without a plan, sitting at a cafe, or staying near the ship can be just as meaningful as a full-day excursion. There's no single right way to experience a port. Some days call for adventure, others call for ease. And both count. Most cruisers don't regret doing little. They regret trying to do too much in a short time. Port days work best when you choose what fits your energy and not what looks best on paper. One of the quiet stress points of a cruise is comparison. You hear what other people did, you see photos online, or overhear conversations and start wondering if you chose wrong. Different cabin, different plans, different energy, but cruises aren't competitions. they're personal. Someone else's perfect day might feel exhausting to you, and something simple that brings you peace might look boring to someone else. That doesn't make either one wrong, it just means that you travel differently. A cruise works best when you stop measuring it against other versions of the same trip. The only thing that really matters is whether you felt present, rested, and content in the moment that you were in. Comparison pulls you out of that moment, and cruising rewards people who stay inside it. A lot of cruise disappointment comes from expectations. Not big ones, but small, quiet ones. Expecting a perfect sunset, expecting a smooth plans, expecting every moment to feel magical. When a small thing doesn't go as planned, it can feel bigger than it needs to. But cruising is still real life, just in a better setting. Things run late, plans change, weather shifts. That doesn't mean a cruise is ruined. It just means this moment is different than you imagined. There's a simple idea that helps here. Happiness is reality minus expectations. The lower and more flexible your expectations are, the more room there is for things to surprise you in a good way. When you stop expecting each moment to be perfect, you start noticing what's still good about it. A quiet coffee, a calm walk, a view you weren't planning on. Cruises feel better when you let moments be what they are instead of what you thought they should be. If there's one thing to remember about cruising, it's this. There's no perfect way to do it. If you're present, rested, and enjoying the moments you're in, you're doing it right. You don't need to see everything, book everything, or optimize every choice. Some of the best parts of a cruise are the ones you didn't plan for. The quiet mornings, the slow walks, the moments when nothing special is happening, and you realize that you feel good anyway. We live in a world that's always connected, always notifying, updating, and pulling at your attention. It can be hard to find a moment alone with your thoughts. Even on modern cruise ships, with everything they offer, there are still moments out at sea where you can get lost in the rhythm of the water, the movement, and the quiet. Those moments matter. It's easy to miss if you're rushing, but they're always there if you slow down enough to notice them. Cruising works best when you trust yourself to know what you need in each moment, not what the schedule says. If you let the trip unfold at its own pace, it almost always meets you where you are. And most of the time, that's exactly where you needed to be.